using a method most state DNR offices do not advertise, but do not prohibit either. At the end, I'll tell you which states restrict this and which don't. First, the stocking part, because that's what the title is about. The reason this pond stocks itself with bass is fathead minnows. Fatheads are a forage fish. They're legal to stock in every state I've researched for private ponds. They're cheap. 100 of them run $12 to $20 at a bait shop. Once they're in a healthy pond, they reproduce so fast that they create a self-sustaining forage base. You stock bass fingerlings into that forage base. The fatheads do not vanish. They multiply faster than the base can eat them. If your numbers are right, the base grow. The fatheads replenish. The cycle turns without you buying from a hatchery again. The aquaculture industry does not love this model. Neither does the live bait industry. And some state DNR offices have permit language that complicates stocking base across county lines. The title says 14 states. I'll be honest about that number. It's a conservative estimate from what I read in State Fish and Boat Commission archives. Pennsylvania is not one of them. For pond water that doesn't connect to navigable streams, total cost on a build like this with liner, gravel, basic gravity feed, aerator, initial fathead stock, and base fingerlings runs around $290 to $320. Before you move 1 cubic yard of dirt, you need to know 2 things. What's under your land, and who has authority over the water you're putting on it. The water question is where most backyard pond builders get spooked. The EPA's Waters of the United States rule, the so-called WOTUS rule, has been revised multiple times since 2015. After the 2023 Sackett v. EPA Supreme Court decision, federal jurisdiction over isolated ponds on private land shrank considerably. If your pond does not connect to a navigable waterway, does not have a surface connection to a tributary, and sits on your own property, you are almost certainly outside federal jurisdiction. State jurisdiction is different. Pennsylvania requires a permit if your pond creates a dam over 6 feet, or if drainage could affect downstream flow. A simple landscape pond typically falls under the PA Fish and Boat Commission's Private Pond Exemption, Section 2102 of the Fish and Boat Code. Distinguishes private ponds with no public water access from publicly navigable waters. My neighbor's pond drains to a dry swale, not to the Piquea Creek. The commission told him he needed no permit. I'm not a lawyer. Call your county's conservation district before you break ground. 1 phone call. For stocking largemouth bass in a pond that receives water from a public waterway or drains into one triggers a permit in 14 states I reviewed, including Maryland, Virginia, North Carolina, Michigan, Wisconsin, and Indiana. Pennsylvania requires a permit only if fish are transported across state lines from a licensed aquaculture facility. In state, from a registered source, you're fine. Check your state DNR directly. The rule may have changed since I checked. Soil test. Do not skip this. My first attempt at a pond in 1992 failed in 1 season because the clay subsoil was not where I thought it was. Good clay at 18 inches when I probed, but a sand lens at 30. When the pond filled, the water found that lens and wick it out in 6 weeks. The 2019 pond started with a percolation test. We dug 3 test holes, 18 inches deep, filled each with water, measured what dropped in 24 hours, more than 2 inches a day. Means you compact or you liner. His dropped 1 inch. We used liner anyway. Liner is cheaper than regret. Frost line in Lancaster County is 36 to 42 inches. You want your deepest point at least 18 inches below frost. In Pennsylvania, that means at least 5 feet. We went 6 at the center. Bass overwinter at 6 feet without aeration in our climate. Any shallower, you risk winter kill if the ice sets hard. The itemized list for the 2019 build. Verify current pricing locally. EPDM rubber liner, 40 mil, 20 by 25 feet, $162 from a local irrigation supply outside Lancaster. 500 square feet to account for overlap and anchor edge. The liner is 83% of your material cost. Don't cheap out. Non-woven geotextile underlayment, 4 ounce, 300 square feet, $28 at Tractor Supply. Protects the EPDM from sharp rocks and roots. Pea gravel, 1 cubic yard, $38 at a local aggregate yard. Edge ballast and shelf ledge. 4-inch corrugated drainage pipe, 50 feet, $26 at Home Depot. Gravity feed from a low hillside spring on the north edge. Standpipe, 4-inch PVC, 3 sections plus elbow, $14 at Lowe's. Overflow runs underground to the dry swale. Solar-powered pond aerator, 1.5 watt, 2 air stones, $37 from Amazon. Keeps an 800 square foot pond from stratifying badly. Fathead minnows, 200 count, $14 at a bait shop on Route 30. You want a 2-to-1 forage to bass ratio at minimum, ideally 4-to-1 at start. We stocked 200 in June, waited 8 weeks, then stocked 50 base in August. Largemouth bass fingerlings, 50 count, 2-inch size, $38 from a licensed in-state Pennsylvania aquaculture farm. A licensed farm is your cleanest legal source. Agricultural lime, 50 pounds. Base want pH between 6.5 and 8.5. Miscellaneous. Stakes, string, zip ties. At night it stops. Keeps dissolved oxygen above 5 milligrams per liter during summer stratification, the minimum base need. You should hear a low gurgling at the stones. If a stone is silent, the line has kinked, or the stone is clogged. Pull it up, blow through it. Step 11, fill and condition. The hose ran 4 days. I measured pH daily with a pool kit, $12 at Home Depot. Initial fill read 5.9. I broadcast 25 pounds of agricultural lime in the first week. pH rose to 7.1 within 10 days. Wait at least 3 weeks before stocking. The pond needs to cycle. Beneficial bacteria need to establish. A natural plankton bloom needs to develop. That bloom is the base of your food chain. Step 12. Stock the fatheads. 8 weeks after fill, 200 fathead minnows. A single female can spawn 6 to 10 times per season. They lay adhesive eggs under flat objects, which is why old-timers put flat rocks or pieces of old shingles on the pond floor for them. We put 4 flat slate pieces at 18-inch depth. By September, fry near those stones. Step 13. Stock the base. In August, 50 largemouth fingerlings, 2-inch size, from a licensed Pennsylvania aquaculture facility, $38, about 76 cents per fish. By the following May, survivors, and first winter mortality runs 22. 40% in a northern climate had grown to 4 to 6 inches. By year 2, 8 to 10. In year 3, my neighbor pulled out a 14-inch bass. The fatheads were still thriving. Step 14, monitor and adjust. Check pH every 2 weeks. Add lime when it drops below 6.5. Check clarity. If the water turns pea green, reduce agricultural runoff entering the inlet. Add barley straw. Check for mortality. Dead fish at the surface means dissolved oxygen crash, disease, or pH spike. Testing before you stock. Water hold test. Fill to standpipe height. Let it sit 48 hours without input. In a properly lined pond in dry weather, you should lose less than 1 inch in 48 hours to evaporation. More than 2 inches means a seam leak or a puncture. Drain. Find the leak by running your hand across the damp liner. Dissolved oxygen meter, $35 to $50 online. In a healthy new pond above 6 milligrams per liter near the surface, above 4 at depth. pH strips. You want 6.5 to 8.5 consistently. Now the honesty beat. There are conditions where this method will not work. High water table. If it's above 3 feet, the liner will float against hydrostatic pressure. You can't anchor against groundwater with stakes. Test in late spring when the table is highest. If wet at 3 feet, you need engineering, not a budget liner system. Rocky soil or shale. We're in Lancaster County, deep clay loam. If you're in West Virginia or upstate New York on shale, excavation runs 10 times higher, and the liner is at risk. This method is built for clay loam soils in the Mid-Atlantic, Midwest, and Upper South. Freeze depth beyond 48 inches. In Minnesota, Wisconsin, or northern Michigan, your frost line is deeper and winter kill risk is higher. A 6-foot pond in Minnesota is marginal for base over winter. You may need 8 to 10 feet or dedicated aeration, drainage to public water. If your outlet connects to a creek, river, or ditch that connects to a creek, your permit situation changes. Bass stocking almost certainly requires a permit and may require inspected fingerlings to prevent disease transfer. Stay private and closed and you avoid the issue. Base stocking restrictions. 14 states have some form of permit or restriction. Pennsylvania's is narrow. Others are stricter. Look up your specific state's rule. I was wrong about this for years. I assumed because the pond was mine and the fish were mine, the state had nothing to say. Mose Byler, an old carp stalker in Paradise, corrected me in 1985 when I was helping him move a batch of bluegill across a county line. He'd done his homework. I hadn't. He said, the fish may be yours, but the disease on the fish belongs to everybody. That stuck. Check your state before you stock. Maintenance. About 2 hours each spring and 1 hour each fall. In year 1, spring. Measure pH before the ice is fully off the shelf. Winter acidifies a pond, especially with decomposing leaves under ice. Not someone I'll name further, but someone whose methods I watched over 8 years. Comment your county and your pond size below. I read every one. If there's a specific question about your site, soil, water table, regulations, I'll address it in a future video. Subscribe so you don't miss the next one. There's a method I haven't shown you yet. A 3-species stocking rotation that starts with catfish, not bass. I'll walk you through it next. That's what I've got for you tonight. Tight lines, deep water, and stay curious.